coming off of a decade of benign capital markets, benign markets generally, where default rates have actually been quite unnaturally low, and we've had a lot of liquidity flushing the market. So where we're coming into is probably what should almost be seen as a bit of a normalization, in that there will be a pickup of default rates in the system. There are going to be pressures because of all of the nuances that we're experiencing from a macroeconomic perspective, particularly in Europe, where we have energy stresses, we have political issues, obviously with Russia and Ukraine. We've got fiscal pressures in the system, we've got monetary pressures in the system. So all of that obviously culminates in a lot of fractures across multiple markets. So contrary to what the GFC was like, where it was a lot of pressure and a lot of fracture in one particular segment of the economy that had a multiplier effect, what we're going to probably see is multiple areas of stress, which for me, coming to your point about growth opportunities, or at least investment opportunities, I feel as though it's actually going to be quite diversified and quite opportunistic in nature. And so the best way to play that from our perspective is to be tactical and to be able to spread across a number of nuanced opportunity sets, so that you can bring together at a fund level or a portfolio level something that is actually very unique in terms of the underlying risk profile, because it's quite diversified across risk sets. So clearly uncertainty is going to be one of those. I speak quite regularly to investors who have flip-flopped between wanting to put capital to work, wanting to understand where the opportunities are, fear of missing out on the next rally. So there is a lot of that mentality, but it is then coupled with, or coated with, a risk aversion or a risk retrenchment, especially when the bouts of volatility pick up. And so, that uncertainty definitely means that investors are going to be continually questioning when it's the right time to put meaningful risk to work. And on the flip side, GPs, particularly where the tailwinds are very much coming together for their strategies, we certainly feel like we're in that bucket. It's very much a case of, let us have the dry powder now, because it's going to be an evolving opportunity set. There isn't going to be, certainly I don't think there's going to be a point in time where, now is the time. It's going to be very much a case of ongoing, evolving, differentiated stresses across various submarkets. And so what you'd want to be doing is actually being able to invest in a sustainable manner across that. I think the definitional model probably needs to change to reflect the evolution of private debt. Direct lending is still the bulk of the assets in private debt, and will remain so. I think it's almost becoming the beta of private debt. But the expansion of opportunities beyond that has materially increased, and I feel as though we are still quite fixated on the traditional buckets. And so I do think there is a time to, and certainly now is a time to rethink some of that, and really try and find ways of delineating risk across the various opportunity sets. Good energy, good turnout. I think that's kind of symptomatic of people wanting to understand what's going on, what is interesting in terms of opportunity sets, what investors are thinking because of the uncertainty factor that we talked about, who is putting risk to work, who is retrenching. I think we get a lot of that from sort of networking sessions like this. So generally a really good couple of days, actually. Thank you.